Is Juma ready now? Are you ready now? Okay, let us start now. Om Akhandamandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Harihi Om Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramakrishna. Welcome everyone for this Zoom meeting. In this meeting, as you all know, we are trying to study the hymns with some explanation. So nowadays we are studying the Arati song, that is Aratrikam Stotram, as it is called. So this stotram was written by Swami Vivekananda. We have been reading up to studying up to seventh. I think today Juma will chant all the 7 verses because there was something left in the last week that also we shall take up, and from there we shall proceed to verse 8. Yes.
Okay, Maharaj. খণ্ডানো ভব বন্ধানো জাগ বন্ধানো বন্দিত মায় নিরঞ্জন নরূপ ধারো নিরঞ্জন নরূপ ধারো নির্গুণ গুণময় মোচন আঘ দূষণ জাগ ভূষণ চিদ ঘন কায় জ্ঞানাঞ্জন বিমল নয়ন জ্ঞানাঞ্জন বিমল নয়ন বিক্ষণে মোহ যায় ভাস্বর ভাব সাগর চের উন্মাদ প্রেম পাথার ভক্তার জানো যুগল চারণ ভক্তার জানো যুগল চারণ তারণ ভব জৃম্বিত যুগ ঈশ্বর জগৎ ঈশ্বর যোগ সাহার নিরোধান সমাহিত মান নিরোধান সমাহিত মান নিরখিতাব কৃপায় ভঞ্জন দুঃখ গঞ্জন করুণাঘন কর্ম কঠোর প্রাণার্পণ জগত তারণ প্রাণার্পণ জগত তারণ কৃন্তন কলিডোর বঞ্চন কাম কাঞ্চন তে নিন্দিত ইন্দ্রিয় রাগ ত্যাগীশ্বর হে নরবর ত্যাগীশ্বর হে নরবর দেহ পদে অনুরাগ নির্ভয় গাত সংশয় দৃঢ় নিশ্চয় মানসমান নিষ্কারণ ভকত শরণ নিষ্কারণ ভকত শরণ তাজি জাতি কুলমা।
Thank you, Juma. So the last week we have been discussing the 7th verse. Nirbhaya gata samshaya dhrida nischaya manasavan nishkarana bhakata sharana yaji jati kulaman. Here you'll find, as we are thinking about this verse, this manasavan was added to all the three adjectives like nirbhaya, gata samshaya, dhrida nischaya. So manasavan means we said that one who is so. So what is so? That nirbhaya, fearless, and then gata samshaya, who has gone beyond all doubts, dhrida nischaya, who is of firm resolve. So that manasavan, that type of mind who has got. So this, and then we came to the second line, nishkarana bhakata sharana. Nishkarana, as you all know, the causeless cause. One interpretation was there. And bhakata sharana, who himself is a refuge of all the devotees. And another interpretation we are discussing was that without any cause, who can accept the devotees and who can grace the devotees. That also we saw. And then we came to Tyaji Jati Kulaman. This is what we have to today see. We have to from here. Tyaji Jati Kulaman. What does it mean, Tyaji Jati Kulaman? Tyaji means we see that you have renounced. That is called Tyaji. This is a Bengali word, Tyaji. Jati Kulaman. What you have renounced? Jati Kulamana. Three types of things he says. Swamiji says. So, any Paramahamsa is not bound by the fetters. So, our Puranas say that there are 8 fetters, particularly Tantric scriptures. They say a man or a jiva is bound by 8 fetters. 8 fetters is quite a big thing. Each fetter, we must see that how wonderfully they have explained. And from these 8 fetters only, in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, you find Sri Ramakrishna mentioning one word, phrase called Ashtapasha. Ashtapasha means 8 fetters or 8 bondages. These 8 bondages are binding to the Jivatma, to the human soul. So if a Jivatma has to go for moksha, these fetters have to be broken. So here, Swamiji is not telling about all the 8. He only mentions as a sample 3. And the rest 5, you must accept it. Yes, all the 5 also he broke it. What are those 8 pashas? Naturally the question comes. So we will have to go to Kularnava Tantram. There is a Tantra scripture called Kularnava Tantra. Kula Arnava Tantra. So Kularnava Tantra. It is 13.90. The verse says, Grina Shanka Bhayam Lajja. So Grina Shanka Bhayam Lajja. And it says, Jugupsa Cheti Panchami. So if you add Jugupsa to the 4, first 4, that is Grina, Shanka, Bhaya, Lajja. And you add Jugupsa, this becomes 5. These fetters have become 5. Then it says, Kulam Sheelam Tata Jati. Kulam Sheelam Tata Jati Ashtapasha Prakirtita. So what are these pashas? These fetters or the bondages or the chains? 8 chains are there. They have bound us. So one by one we have to break the chain. In Sri Ramakrishna's life, we find all the 8 fetters he broke. There are plenty of examples are there. But here Swamiji wants to take out the most difficult. Even you see, even the Tantra has grouped the first 5 under one group. And the second group is of the 3, Jati, Kula, Mana. Jati, Shila, Mana. That is what Tantra also says. So you find what is Grina? Grina means hatred or disgusting. You say that seeing somebody you get irritated. That is called Grina. And then Shanka. Shanka is doubt or apprehension. Bhayam is very easy, everybody knows, fear. Bhayam is fear. Lajja is shame. And then Jugupsa. Jugupsa is feeling of insult. So when somebody insults you, you may not mind it. Your mother suppose tells you something, you may not mind it. But then in the friend circle, if somebody insults you, then you will feel for that. So somebody has insulted me, like that you feel. That is called Jugupsa. These 5 are grouped under one category. That's why in the first line, all the 5 have been told. In the second line, the Tantra says about the 3, Jati, Kula, Kulam, Shilam, Jati, it says. So here Swamiji says same thing as Jati, Kula, Mana. What are these Jati, Kula, Mana? That is very important for us to know. How Sri Ramakrishna went beyond this Jati, Kula, Mana. So generally, Jati is translated as belonging to a group or a category of society. So generally in our India, what happens? We identify Jati with the caste. So Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, these are the 4 divisions of the caste. And under each, there are many, many upacastes also, upajatis also are there. So this Jati is one of the things. There you get great pride of Jati. One who has been born in a family of, say, for instance, a Brahman family, who has got very well erudite scholar, and he does puja, etc. And you only touch him, only with the reference to his Jati, he will get angry. Because he is fully attached to that Jati, that outside, the Jati chain that is there. So he is unable to break it. Likewise, Kula. Kula means lineage. What lineage you come from? Some people say, in Calcutta I have heard, we belong to Roy Chowdhury's lineage. We are zamindars. So the lineage, in South India also they say, we belong to that great Shettiar family. The Shettiar who created temples. The Mudaliyars who created temples. They are very proudly they will speak. That is a lineage. And that is Jati, Kula. Kula is that lineage. And Mana is nobility. The noble persons is, you may beat him 10 times. He is not worried about that. But you utter one word, he is very much offended. That is nobility. The noble persons cannot stand any insulting word, but you can beat him, no problem for him. He is able to take up on his body, but one word by your tongue is enough for him to feel insulted. Now we see in this Jati Kula Mana, let us see in Sri Ramakrishna's life. You may also remember that, as I told you, this is not a 1-hour lecture. You can easily interfere anytime. You just raise your hand and Juma will take up from that hand man. Who is that person? You can say that. So, Jati Kula Mana. Anybody remembers any incident in Master's life about either Jati or Kula or Mana? Let us see. this pride in these things are very big thing. When you have a pride, you may not even know that you have a pride. Only when you are insulted, you understand that your pride is affected now. So unknowingly, the pride fetter is there on us. Now you have to see that how this say, if you take that jati, first instance I am telling you, jati, Sri Ramakrishna was born in a very high Brahmin caste in Bengal. In those times, the caste feelings were very much prevalent. Nowadays, only this has been much reduced, but in those days, it was very, very virulent. It was fully followed. And he belonged to that caste, that Brahman caste. Did he ever think that I am a Brahman? Though there were other Brahmins were there in the temple, but they all used to say, we are all Brahman. Even Rani Rashmani used to call Sri Ramakrishna as a Chotto Bamun. Bamun is a corrupted form of Bengali term of Brahmana, of Sanskrit word. So Brahmana or Brahman in Hindi, or you in Bengali you call it Bamun. So it's the only deviated form. That's all. So this she used to call him Choto Bamun. Mind you, that Bamun word, the jati also is added to identify Sri Ramakrishna. That means in a person who is being called by that jati, how much identification, how much the chain must have enveloped him, and how much he should be finding great pride in that. But that person, he broke this fetter. How did he break this fetter? He used to go to the chamar. In the temple, there was a chamar. The chamar is one who does the dome's duty, one who cleans the latrine, toilets, and other precincts, etc. So that person's house he used to go when he used to go away for his duties. And then he would go and clean his place. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, look, this fellow cleans the entire temple, but who is going to clean his place? Let me go and clean him. His house, the higher caste people would not even enter, never, not even enter in question. They would not even go near that house. And there Sri Ramakrishna would go silently and clean that house. And also, when he was doing Tantra Sadhana, he started feeling, hey, I am a Brahmin. I am having this feeling coming up. So what he used to do, he would take away this Jenu. Jenu, this what you call, the Purohits give you at the time of putting the Gayatri Mantra Upadesha. At that time they give Jenu. So the Jenu, he would take it away. And he would not keep it on his body because he felt putting it on that gives him the feeling, the identity with the caste. So no, I shall not have it. Likewise, you can have plenty of instances. You can see that jati, kula, mana, kula lineage. What a great lineage he comes from. Sri Ramakrishna used to make fun to Girish Chandra Ghosh. Girish Chandra Ghosh told him, oh Lord, can you not be born to me as son in my next birth? Girish Ghosh already decided he will have a next birth and he will be a man body and he wants a son. And he saw asking Ramakrishna that why don't you be born? And said, this is a very good, noble idea, because God himself will come to you as your son and your Vasalya Bhava. That sadhana you can do. So it's very nice. But Sri Ramakrishna said, Durshala. He said, no, oh rascal, no, I can't. Because what is your lineage? See the lineage. And Girish Ghosh, because he comes from a very rich Zamindar family, they had all the bad vices, as we call vices. All those vices were there. But compared to that, you see Sri Ramakrishna's father's lineage. His father was an absolutely truth-speaking man. For that only he was he was sent out from Dere village and he came to refuge with his friends at Kamarpukur. So Kamarpukur was not his original village. Dere village was his father's village. From that village, he had to be shifted. because Dere village Zamindar was giving him problem because he stood on the truth. So that is how the lineage that may come to him. But then, with all the lineage and jati, he is bowing down to Naren. Think of Naren, a college student. He has come before him, and Sri Ramakrishna is sitting before him, putting his palms together and said, "Hey, Narayana, you have come here. I am nobody before you." And he is praying to him. See, this is such a wonderful. He has cut the fetters. Jati, Kula, Mana. All this is he has cut up. So he is praising. Swami Vivekananda says he cannot but praise Sri Ramakrishna for cutting all the 8 fetters. The second line of the Mahanava Tantra, I told you, that's Swami Vivekananda says. That means we must understand the first 5 fetters also have been cut off. So we see shame. Many people would be ashamed to dance in a society, but Sri Ramakrishna would immediately start dancing. He never felt for the society. Who is big man is there, whether Rani Rasmani or whether it is Keshav Chandra Sen, he never worried. And he had no fear. Even Rani Rasmani was sitting in front of him. He went and gave her a slap. Fearless man. And actually, he is an employee of her, mind you, of her temple. But then he went and gave her a slap. No fear. Likewise, every fetter, if you see, every fetter he broke. So Sir Swamiji is in wonder, of Sri Ramakrishna. He says that Jati Kula Man, Tyaji, you have renounced Jati Kula Man. This. Now, there is another interpretation given by one devotee. While I was discussing this with one devotee, the devotee gave another interpretation. Very interesting. Can you think of any other interpretation? Gaurav? Swami Vivekananda is addressing Sri Ramakrishna, Teji Jati Kula Mana. You have renounced the Jati Kula Mana, these 3 qualities. Can there be any, in his life he cut the fetters, okay. Can there be any other interpretation?
Swamiji, can we say that he helps us as a devotee to renounce that?
Yes. Now, how does he help? In devotee circle, he doesn't look for Jati Kula Mana. So whether you are a Brahmana or you are a Shudra, it doesn't matter for Sri Ramakrishna. Jati and Kula, your lineage, it doesn't matter. Whatever be your lineage, all lineage people can come and take refuge at his feet. Likewise, this Kula and then Mana also nobility. So the nobility also he doesn't care. Where you are nobility, noble person, or see Keshav Chandra Sen was a noble person. But then think of Nati Vinodini, she was a fallen woman. People would not even utter her name. In the big societies, they will not utter her name because she was a prostitute and she was a dramatist. She used to play in dramas. So a call girl. So Nati Vinodini, that girl also, for Sri Ramakrishna, there is no difference with Keshav Chandra Sen. So Sri Ramakrishna never looked for Jati Kulaman among his disciples. That is one beautiful interpretation that lady gave me. So I'm very happy to acknowledge to her.
So,
I don't
Swamiji,
know whether she is today here or not. But anyway, when I learn something, I must tell you. So let us go to the 8th verse today. Juma, can you please chant this 8th verse?
Sorry, Gaurav might have wanted to say something.
Yes, come. I am always telling somebody must raise his hand and then tell.
Sorry, Swamiji, I was thinking because
let her finish. One M. Basu is trying to talk. Let her finish.
No, M. Basu pointed out that Gaurav wanted to tell you something.
Okay. I thought she is going to tell something. Okay.
no,
Yes,
Swamiji, Swamiji, I was thinking because Sri Ramakrishna is Niranjana, he doesn't look into these qualities. So that Niranjana quality can be brought maybe.
Brought here, yes, is pure, yes.
Because that's why he.
Yes, that's true.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
सम्पद तव श्रीपद भव गोष्पद वारिजथाय प्रेमार्पण समदर्शन प्रेमार्पण समदर्शन जग जन दुख जाय.
Yes. Sampada Tava Shripada Bhava Goshpada Vari Yathai. You see, three in the one sentence itself, he has used 3 times the term pada. Sampada Tava Shripada Bhava Goshpada Vari Yathai. Premarpana Samadarashana. If you pronounce Samadarshana, that is the correct word in Sanskrit. Darshana is a correct word. But then the meter will be cut off. The beats you will lose the beats when you are singing. So when you are singing, how do you sing? Samadarashana. That ra must be pronounced. Then only the meter can be kept. Samadarshana Jaga Jana Dukha Jai. So what is the meaning? Tava Sripada, your holy feet is Sampada, is wealth for me, is a treasure for me. So Swamiji says to Sri Ramakrishna, O Lord, your holy feet is auspicious to me. It is a wealth, it is a treasure to me. And then he says, your feet can be compared to the cow's puddle. And then likewise I can compare. So he compares that. Yatha means as in or like that. Yatha. Yatha in Sanskrit means like that. And then second line he says Premarpana. That means, O offering of love. You offer the love to everyone. Premarpana. Samadarshana. You have got equanimity. You have got equal view of everyone. You don't make distinction between this man and that man. So you have equal view. Samadarshana. You see everyone with the sameness. Sama means sameness. Samadarshana. So what happens when you show all these qualities to the devotees? Devotees sufferings comes to an end. What type of suffering? Jaga Jana Dukha Jai. All the devotees, this Jana means people, the devotees. There, that this universe, in this world, those who are all devotees to you, their dukkha, their sufferings, jai, will come to an end. It goes away. So this is if you would paraphrase the whole verse, it is, your holy feet are the wealth of the devotees. Consequently, samsara becomes like a puddle made by a hoof of a cow, meaning easy to cross over. O offering of love, premarpana, samadarshana, O a person of even sightedness or sameness, the miseries of the people of the world thus disappear. So we can see this, how beautifully Swamiji brings it. When this particular shloka or this verse was being thought of, so I was reminded of one shloka of Mother Sita talking to Hanumanji. In Valmiki Ramayana, it comes. If you want to see the reference, I can give the reference. You can say this. So in Sundarakanda, in Valmiki Ramayana, Sundarakanda 36.8. Now in that verse, Mother Sita is addressing Hanuman. She was, when Hanuman tells her his story that I have come crossing the ocean, etc., he told her, and everything. So now Mother Sita is understood. Yes, Hanuman is a genuine person. He has really come from Sri Ram. She has understood. Then she is talking to Hanuman. She says a very beautiful shloka Valmiki gives her. What Valmiki says there is, in the mouth of Sita, he puts it, these words. What Sita ji said, Shatayojana Vistirna Shagaro Makara Alaya Vikrama Slaganiyena Kramata Goshpadi Kritaha. Very beautiful verse it is. It is says, Sita is telling, Oh Hanuman, you crossed over the ocean of 100 yojanas wide. This ocean, 1 yojana is 8 miles. So 100 means 800 miles. 100 yojanas wide the ocean you crossed over. And that ocean contains, it is a reservoir. It is alaya. Alaya means reservoir or a place where it is stored, a storing place. That's why we say Pustakalaya. What is the meaning of Pustakalaya? Pustaka alaya. So alaya means another meaning temple also. In South Indian languages, alayam is very frequently used to mean the temple. As we say in Hindi or Gujarati, etc., we use the word mandir. So mandir is translated in Tamil, Telugu, Hindi, Marathi, etc., alaya. So Pustakalayam, Vidyalaya, we say. What is the meaning of alaya? Alayam is a repository. It is a storehouse. So storehouse of books is called Pustakalaya. So it says, Makara Alaya. Sita ji is wondering, the ocean has got lots of crocodiles. Alligators are there. So Makara Alaya, plenty. It is filled with Makara Alaya. How did you cross over this ocean of 100 yojanas? So she is wondering. And he says, and you cross this as if it is a child's play for you. It is a child's play. What is a child's play? Vikrama Slaganiya. Your Vikrama, your success in crossing this ocean is Slaganiya. It is to be praised. So Sitaji is praising that. Yes, it is to be praised. Kramata Goshpadi Kritaha. You made this ocean as a Goshpadi Kritaha. As a cow makes a small, with the hoof of the cow, the cow presses on the wet land. Then there is a small type of a pit happens there. It's a very small size. So that small size, that is in that sometimes water comes and stagnates. And compare this to ocean water. How Sitaji brings both the together, ocean water she says, and then Goshpadi water also she says. Goshpadi means go means cow. So cow's hoof, and that gives an impression on the ground where a little water, or you can say puddle. So puddle of water of small quantity. Say maybe 2-3 spoons of water, that's all water is there. How easy to cross this? Hanuman is crossed easily like that. She praising Hanuman. Slaganiya, she says. It should be praised. And then you compare to, come to our Ramcharitmanas. In Ramcharitmanas, there is a beautiful verse of Tulsidas, Ramcharitmanas, in Balakanda. Of course, this Goshpadi word brought by Valmiki in Sundarakanda, mind you. And in Balakanda itself, our Tulsidas brings this Goshpadi example. He says clearly, just like Swamiji, there he puts his words in the mouth of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is telling to our Devi Parvati, Mother Parvati, and telling, you have been very nice to ask me a question about Sri Ram. Sri Ram's glory, I cannot complete it. So since you asked me, I'm very happy to tell you the glory of Sri Ram. Like that it starts. So in that starting time, what he says, Bibasahu jasu namunara kahahi. And he says, Janama aneka rachita agadahahi. Very beautifully he says, all the previous birth, whatever sins we have done, aga means sins. Agamochana, that is the word Swamiji uses. Aga means sins. So, agadahahi, all your sins are burnt. What sins are burnt? Your previous birth sins that you have committed, they are all burnt when namanarakahi, when the human, nara means any human being. Nara, namakahi. Whose name? Ram's name. You take the name of Rama and then your previous birth, all sins are burnt down. Shiva is telling to Parvati, mind you. And then in the second line, he comes there, Sadhara Sumiran Jainara Karahi. Now, okay, you take the name of Ram and your sins are burnt out. But along with that, Sadhara Karahi, if you take with great devotion, Adar Purvak, that is called Sadhar. Sadhar means Adar Purvak. With great devotion and humility, you take the name, you remember the name, Sumirana Jainara. If any person remembers the name of Ram with great love and devotion, what happens to him? Bhavavaridi Gopadaiva Tarahi. What a beautifully he says. Bhavavaridi. This bhava, samsara, this samsara ocean of samsara as we say in English, this ocean of samsara, bhava, is crossed so easily like a gopada iva, like gopada, water. How beautifully this is. This pada, that is the feet, taking refuge at the feet of the Lord is very, very important point for the devotees. That's why Sri Ramakrishna's feet is kept in marble in our Durban ashram. When I was in Durban, every day I used to go there, sit before that and bow down at the feet, feeling as if Sri Ramakrishna's feet is there. Very beautiful photo is there, of course. Most of you might have seen it also. So that God's feet, the lotus feet is always spoken of. In any scripture you see, in any language, God's feet is spoken of. And that God's feet, how can Swamiji now omit? So in the 7th verse, he comes to this feet, the glory of Lord's feet. So he says, Shri Pada. What is this Shri Pada? Shri Pada means, the feet, which is very beautiful. There are many different interpretation of the word Shri. One is beautiful, or is very wealthy, or all the wealth. One interpretation is that in this universe, the entire universe is very wealthy. So whom you call a wealthy man who has got a lot of bank balance, you call him wealthy, or who has got a lot of property. How much property is zamindar may have? Say 50 acres or 280 acres you may have, or you may have even 1000 acres. Okay, so that much. But think of the whole world, the entire bhumi, the entire area of land in world. Who is owning them? Not you and me. Somebody is owning. Even us, somebody is owning. Who is that? And under the earth, there are lots of diamonds, gold is there. And all those, how much gold you can have in your home? I do not know how much people have generally, but so I am not guessing anybody's. But then under the bhumi, under the earth, there are plenty of gold and diamonds are still there, unopened. So the entire wealth, apart from that, rivers, mountains, trees, the whole world is full of wealth. And who is holding the wealth? So Hinduism gives in the Puranic way a Devi who is in charge of this wealth. She is made in charge of this wealth, or she is the wealth aspect. The wealth aspect is taken in the human form, and she is made a divine mother form, and she is called Mahalakshmi. Now Mahalakshmi is called Shri. Shri means Mahalakshmi. So that Mahalakshmi, you will find in the Puranic pictures of Mahalakshmi, sometimes she's standing there, okay, on the lotus flower. But you will see many times Vishnu is lying on the serpent. He is slanting himself, is reclining himself on the serpent. And on his feet side, Mahalakshmi is seated. And she is massaging his feet. Sri Pada. Now we must connect these two things. Mahalakshmi herself, in whose feet, that Lord's feet, Narayana's feet, she is massaging. And where is the wealth you are going to show? That feet of the Lord is none less than the wealth, the lady who is representing all the wealth of the universe. She is under the feet of Lord Narayana and she is massaging his feet. So Sri Pada referring to Narayana, Vishnu, because Sri Ramakrishna came from Gaya. You must all remember the story of Sri Ramakrishna's birth. Before his birth, when his father went to Gaya, that Gaya Vishnu came to his father, Khudiram Chatterjee, and told him, well, Khudiram, I am very pleased with your devotion. I am going to be born in your house as your son. Khudiram said, oh Lord, I am a poor Brahmin. I cannot treat you so nicely. And what Khudiram said at that time, oh Lord, who is in charge of the entire wealth of the universe, that Mahalakshmi is at your feet. How can I, this poor Brahmin, feed you, take care of you? Then Lord Vishnu said, don't worry, my dear, I will take whatever you offer. So that's how Sri Ramakrishna was born. So that Narayana, Sri Pada, you must remember that. So Swamiji alludes to all these backgrounds in one word, Sri Pada. And I would like to quote one shloka from Srimad Bhagavatam also. See this Padam, as I said, the Padam means foot. And Pada also feet. Foot also Pada. So this Padam also foot. But Padam also has got some other meaning also. It has got post, position, etc. So one position of the highest position, Paramapadam, that is also we say. Because Lord's feet is the position of Paramapadam, so we say we attain to the Lord feet means you have attained Paramapadam. So Padam is used as a representation of feet also. So this Bhagavatam says in 10.14.58, 10.14.58. You can, why I'm telling the references, you can leisurely go to that scripture and read yourself. Samashita ye pada pallava plavam. Very beautiful words are used in Bhagavatam, Bhagavatam is always, because while writing Bhagavatam, Vyas Maharishi used to shed tears. Actually, you shed tears whenever you are reading this Bhagavatam. Any shloka you take, so beautiful it is. Samashita ye pada pallava plavam. This petal kind of softness, the Lord's feet is there. In that feet, ye shamasrita, those who have taken refuge. That's how it starts. So those who have taken refuge at the feet of the Lord, Lord's lotus feet, then what happens to him? What's happened to them? And this lotus feet, he gives two adjectives. Mahat padam punya yasho murarehe. He speaks about Murare, Krishna, So because it's Krishna's story, so he's talking about Krishna. Krishna's feet are Mahat Padam. It's a very grand position. Very great feet. That holy feet. Holy feet of the Lord is great. Not only great, it is punya. It is very meritorious. And then it is yasha. It is full of glory. Yash means glory. Glory. And how it is acting, it is sampadam parampadam. The same word sampada is used by Swamiji in his verse also. And in here also it is used Bhavam Buddhir Vatsa Vats Sampadam. So he says that Paramapada, that holy feet of Lord, is like Bhavam Buddhir Vatsa. He said Bhavam Buddhi means Ambudhi means ocean. Bhava means samsara. So the ocean of samsara is crossed, is the water becomes like a small water of Vatsampadam. Vatsa means, you understand here Vat and Vatsampadam. Sampadam also you can make the two meanings here. So Vatsa means calf, not even cow. Tulsidas says cow, and Sitaji also in Valmiki Ramayana he says cow. But then here in Bhagavatam, Vyasadeva says it is like the calf of a cow. Cow itself is a big, there are big cows are Jersey cows. They are very big. Their feet also very big. But then he says calf of the cow, a small child of that cow. How much it has got water? That Bhavam Buddhi becomes like Vatsapadam, that child's feet. And he says, Padam yat. That type of people who take refuge in the Lord's holy feet, what will happen? Padam yat vipadam. The vipad, the sufferings are coming. Padam, step by step. Step by step when the sufferings are coming, na tesham. So that will not happen. So God's devotees will be saved. They will not have step by step sufferings. That's how beautifully it says. So I remember this, how Swamiji has put this, Sampadam, Tava Sripadam. Oh Lord, your Sripada is nothing but Sampada, treasure to me. And it is Bhava Goshpada Vari Yatha. Vari means water. Yatha, I told you, like water. So he says, your feet are like water. If you say like that, it doesn't make any sense. Where is feet and where is water? But you must qualify what is water, what type of water. So he says, Goshpada Vari. The water that is left by the hoof of the cow, the space produced by the cow, in that how much water is left, that much only Goshpada Vari, like the water, he says. But then he says, Bhava Goshpada. So the samsara, everybody says, everybody makes us afraid, When you read some of the things, some of the scriptures, they make you afraid of this samsara. They say it is a huge ocean. You cannot cross it at all. Even Krishna himself says in Gita that Mayam Yetam Tarantite, he says, only those who come to me, them only I can take them about this ocean. He says, ocean, Bhava Samsara. Everybody says, Bhava Samsara, and make us fearful. And here, Swamiji comes in the modern era and tells the devotees, don't worry. The samsara may be any big size. It doesn't matter. But it will become like a small space produced by a cow's foot, the hoof of the cow that has produced the space, and where that much water only it will be. So you don't be afraid. So Swamiji gives us, as Tulsidas gives, as Valmiki gives to us, as Srimad Bhagavatam gives us. Same in the tradition, Swamiji gives us an assurance to the devotees. This assurance we don't understand how much necessary in our life. Only when one is thrown into such tremendous sufferings of the samsara, one can understand what this assurance means to me. There are great troubles have come. Plenty of, like Harishchandra. Think of Harishchandra, who was thinking of only Hari. And his name is also Harishchandra. And he was thrown to such a great suffering. A great king of a country has become a dome in a Smashan Ghat. You can understand how lower level he came down. And that Harishchandra, thinking of Hari's holy feet, and assurance is there. Name Bhakta Pranashyati. So Krishna says in Gita, my devotee is never destroyed. My devotee is protected always. So that type of assurance is very rare thing to get from great men. And Swamiji gives us here Sri Ramakrishna's feet. Take refuge in Sri Ramakrishna's feet. It is the wealth for you. None of the wealth that you have had in this world is equivalent to that. The whole wealth of the universe also is not equivalent to that. And that wealth also is, if you make it a Devi, Mahalakshmi, she is sitting at the feet of the Lord, Sripada. So take refuge at that feet. In that case, it becomes your bhava, the samsara becomes a small water quantity which you can easily cross over. So this bhava samsara is not fearful. How beautifully written. And then second line he says, Premarpana Samadarshana. Premarpana means offering of love. Arpan means offering. So what is offer? Because of his intense love for the devotees that he showed to the devotees were very happy. They became attracted to him. Also, in his own life, he had such intense love for Divine Mother Kali. He offered that Premarpana to Mother Kali. So you can interpret it in both ways. That Sri Ramakrishna's offering of his love towards Mother Kali, that was exceptional. No comparison at all. Sri Ramakrishna's love for Mother Kali. He loved everyone. Yes, we all his disciples, he loves us. But then he loved Mother Kali to such a level that he became one with her. So that's what we find. That type of Kali, when he could not get here divine darshan, he took that khadga hanging on the wall and wanted to kill himself. He went to that extent. So we can understand the love of Sri Ramakrishna to Mother Kali and his love for the devotees. Each devotee can tell you, if you read the devotees' life histories, what Chaitanandaji Maharaj has written, they lived with God. In that book, one after another, men devotees, women devotees, like that he has given beautiful histories. And there you will find how Sri Ramakrishna spreads or distributes the butter of love to everyone. Everyone who has been with Sri Ramakrishna are melting in his love. Not only at that time when he was living, even now, after his passing of many years in Sukshma Sharira, he comes and gives his love. Whatever you say, it happens. You ask for it and you get it. It is because of the love that he shows. So, and then if you show that type of love, what is your vision of everyone? So Swamiji says, Samadarshana, same-sightedness, same view of things. So when he saw Mother Kali's cosmic vision, then he started seeing everyone, the same Mother Kali in everyone, in every jiva. There's a beautiful Gita verse. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Shuni Chaiva Shopakecha Panditaha Samadarshinaha. Very beautiful verse, that is Samadarshinaha. Pandita, every Pandit, whom you call Pandit, that Pandita will have Samadarshanam. A Pandita will have even sightedness. So that one person only you can call him Pandita. Otherwise, a Pandit means a man who is learned. That is what we think. But no, Panda means one who has realized God. He is called Panda. So later on, those who are worshipping God as a priest, they are also called Pandas. So you'll find in Puri, etc., in Odisha, you call Panda. Even title is there, Panda. So those who bargain between you as a devotee and the God, he who comes in between, as a priest, they are called pandas. So in Bengali, they say if you make some brokerage, some talk, something you do, they say, hey, why do you do this pandagiri? You are doing pandagiri, like that they will tell you. So pandagiri means what? You are coming in between two people. So this brokerage work. So this panda actually is not these meanings. These are all corrupted meanings. Original meaning in Sanskrit, panda means one who sees God. He is called pandita. So Sri Krishna uses the word in that meaning. Pandita samadarshana. What is having samadarshana? Brahmane. Then Gavi. Hastini. Gavi means cow. One is Brahman, another is cow, another is Hastini, a female elephant. Then Shuni, a female dog. And Shopakecha, one who makes his own food, a paraya. All these things, he sees them as same-sightedness. What does that same-sightedness means here? Many people interpret, I think they interpret wrongly. They interpret what they say, that they don't have difference of like a Brahmana, whether he is a Brahmana or whether he is a Paraya. No difference. Whether it is a cow or it is a hasti, elephant, or a dog, he doesn't make any difference. All are same to him. Is this interpretation okay? Apparently, it seems to be okay. That means you will not have seeing any difference. But this meaning doesn't come. If you go deeper into the shloka and the next shloka of Gita, you will find it is not so. What is Samadarshana means? That Krishna says, you see the Parabrahman or your Atman, yourself, Atman, in all these things. So Brahmana and Paraya do not become same. Or an elephant or a dog, they don't become same in your estimate. What you do is, you see the same Atman in elephant and the same Atman in the dog also. So you see God in them. Sri Ramakrishna while doing puja, the mishti, that is the sweet meats were kept for offering. So the ants came. So he was told that the ants coming and eating, and how are you going to offer to Mother Kali? He said, I saw Mother Kali in those ants. And when the prostitutes came to him, he told Mother Kali, oh Mother Kali, is this your another form that you are showing me? So in them, he saw Mother Kali. And when Naren said, you know what, people are making scandal about you. So Ramakrishna's, what scandal they are speaking? Scandal was there even Ramakrishna's time. So the people are talking very badly about you. So Sri Ramakrishna is curious. They tell me, Naren, what they are talking? They are telling, because I am very handsome, I am looking at very handsome, so you love me. If I am looking not good, you would love me. That is what they are talking. That's why you call me, you make me sit here, and you give me special sweets, etc. Sri Ramakrishna was aghast. What is this? He has never heard this. So he straight away went to Mother Kali and the temple. He asked, oh Mother Kali, Narayan is telling like this. People are talking about me. They are scandalizing. Is this true? Am I loving Narayan because of his form? Then Mother Kali appeared to Sri Ramakrishna and told him, no, you love Narayan because you love Hari in him. The moment you stop seeing Narayana in him, you will not even look at him. And he comes very happily from the temple. And he said, rascal, he says. That shala word he uses, which we don't like to use in good societies. But then he has used it. So I have to tell you. So he says, you rascal, you are misguiding me. You are telling because I love you. Why I love you? Because you are looking handsome. No. Mother has told me, because I see Narayana within you, I love you. See, this is what. In everything, Sri Ramakrishna saw Narayana. That is what Upanishad also says. Ishavasya Upanishad says the first line. So that Isha, that great God, Isha, is Idam. That Isha is Isha Vasyam Idagam Sarvam. In everything he is present. That is what we should understand. It is not the difference between these things are obliterated or gone. But each one has to be dealt with according to that nature. Is it not? So that's why Swami Sri Ramakrishna says to Naren, look, in tiger also the same God is there. But for that reason, you don't go and embrace the tiger. So if a snake comes before you, yes, God is there. You have to kill it. But you cannot take the snake in your hands. So likewise, but you have to see God in everything. Remember that God is present in all the beings. This Samadarshana, that is what it says. That Samadarshana. Sampada tava Sripada Bhava Goshpada Variyatai. Then, what is the next line? Premarpana
Premarpana Samadarshana
Samadarshana.
Jagajana Dukhajay.
Jagat Jana Dukha Jai. So Jagat Jana Dukha goes away. This universe, we are all belonging to the Jagat. So we are called Jagat Jana. So we are belonging to the Jagat. So our sufferings will go away. The moment we take refuge at the feet of the lotus feet, that also. Padma, Padma Pad we say. So the lotus feet of the Lord, we take refuge and our sufferings will go away. This is what assurance given by Swamiji in the 8th verse. From 9th verse, you will find a different meter is there, a different tune will come. That we shall see from the next week. I was supposed to say next week, but next week we are not having the class. Juma can explain.
Yes, I've put in a message also for all of you all that next week there'll be no class. The next hymn explained class will be on 12th of August, Thursday.
Thursday, 12th of August, we are meeting again.
Yeah, we are meeting again.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Pranam Maharaj.
Jai Ram Krishna, Durga to everyone.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Pranam Maharaj.
Namaste, Maharaj.
Namaste. Namaste to everyone.
The shrine looks so beautiful.